let's talk about cold calling, cold emailing, cold DMing. It's cold because you don't know this person and they don't know you. So you have to approach it very specifically. It can be effective. So we talked a little bit earlier about using Google and Google Maps to find local companies, and then searching those on LinkedIn to find the team members that work at those companies, and then following some of those people in order to see what they're talking about, not to DM them. But now, maybe we're going to DM them. Maybe. It's a fine line, right? We don't want to come off as egotistical or pretentious in any way. We do not deserve these people's time. However, there is a very real world where producers and directors need to know more people working in the local industry. And they want more connections and resources for whenever gigs come up. It is very much in their best interest to know as many editors as they can know. And if you are a promising editor, they would like to know you. Even though the action may feel presumptuous, if you approach it the right way, it can actually be a very big win-win situation for you to reach out to strangers to ask to meet them. This is in the interest of making connections and finding valuable relationships. It's not about finding gigs as fast as you can. If you're using people to find gigs, they will feel that, and they will not be interested in working with you. Typically what you're going to want is you're going to want to go in with a very specific purpose in mind. You don't want to waste these people's time, and you don't want to waste your own time. You want to only talk to the people who are the most likely to be valuable to you and that you could be valuable to. Typically what I'll do is I will pick a person or a company that I know I'm going to reach out to. And then I will do a little bit of research on that person. I want to know who this person or this company is and what they've done. So I'll look through their website a little bit. I'll stalk their LinkedIn portfolio, and I'll figure out something that is genuinely interesting to me, something that I find impressive, something that I would like to know more about. I'll start off basically by saying, I'm new to the area. I'm trying to get to know the industry here. And I found them through whatever thing, through LinkedIn or Google Maps or whatever. And I saw on their website that they did this thing, and that thing is very impressive. And I'll give them a specific compliment or a specific question related to their project. So now they know that I have the wherewithal to care about them, to spend time doing research, to know who they are. I consistently get cold emails from all kinds of people. I get them mostly from marketing companies that want to help me advertise my company, and from voiceover artists who are looking to get hired to do voiceover work. And in both cases, the emails that I receive are never personalized. It takes more work to make personalized emails, obviously. So if you can just write one email and send it to everybody, that feels more effective, but I think you're much more likely to get a response if you personalize the email and you do research on the person beforehand. Every single email I have ever received from a voiceover artist, I have immediately deleted. Because first of all, they're usually way too long. I don't even want to read the whole thing. I read the first 2 sentences and I delete it. Next, it's usually very clearly a chain email. The first paragraph has nothing to do with me. It's very clearly someone trying to send as many emails as humanly possible. And I don't think that sending as many emails as humanly possible is actually an effective way to get clients. The whole point of being an editor and getting hired onto gigs is that you're working one-on-one with producers and with directors, and it's about that relationship. So it needs to be about that relationship from the beginning, before these people have even hired you or even have the potential of hiring you. You need to care enough about the industry and enough about the people who might hire you that you understand what they do, that you took 5 minutes to look at their website, to understand the kind of video services that they offer, to be impressed by something, and to specifically comment on it in a way that can't be mistaken for anything other than, this guy took some time to look at my website. How impressive is that? How much more likely is this person going to be to respond to you if you took the time to be so specific? Then your next paragraph is not presumptuous or pretentious at all. It simply tries to clearly say you're fairly new to the area, maybe even new to the industry, you're trying to meet some more people, and this is kind of who you are and what you do. And then you drop the question. Could we meet up for coffee? Do you know of any opportunities in the area? This is the thing that I'm looking for. Could you point me in the right direction? You're valuing people's time, and if they don't respond, it took them a few seconds to read this very quick email, and that's all it was. But you're also putting out feelers, and you send enough of these personalized short emails, pretty soon some people are going to come around and they're going to start responding to you, because a lot of them want to know more editors in the area, because if they can fit you into their busy schedule, they like helping newbies in the industry. There's a lot of reasons why people would be incentivized to talk to you, and having conversations or getting coffee or even just DMing back and forth with a couple of people over a couple of weeks can do a lot in terms of getting you more familiar with the industry, getting you more connections, and getting you more potential jobs. These rules of being as concise as possible, valuing the other person's time, doing research on the person in order to know who they are and speak to them personally from the beginning, all of these apply to anyone that you're interacting with for the first time, even if you're not cold DMing them. If you're interacting with them in a community thread, or if you're in person with them for the first time, it's incredibly helpful to handle it this way. Now, my sister took a lot of the stuff that I'm teaching you and tried to apply it to her own hustle doing music. And she had a potential opportunity, and she wrote an email, and she asked for my feedback on it. And she's given me permission to read both her email and then to break down my feedback on it, because she did some really good stuff and she made some mistakes. So I want to go through this. Here's her email. Hey there. My name is Reagan. I got your email off of the Utah Film Commission website indicating you've just begun to film your feature film Horizon. From what I can tell, it looks like it's going to be a pretty cool feature film. I'm emailing because I'm a composer and producer. I'm looking for projects to work on, and I thought I might be a good fit to compose the music for Horizon. I'm not sure if you've already got someone lined up to compose the music for your film or not, but if you don't, I'd love to talk with you about it. If you're interested at all, you can find examples of my previous work on my website. If you look under works, you can find an example of the last scene I scored for, an interstellar scene. You're also welcome to look at any of my other music on there. Please let me know if I'm what you're looking for. Thanks. I'm just going to read exactly what I wrote back to her to start off. Number 1. It's pretty good at communicating and being precise. I know exactly what you want from me, and I have an idea of who you are, and you didn't take very much time doing it, so it's already way ahead of most cold emails. 2. I actually would not have thought about emailing producers before they are looking for composers. It's really not a bad idea. Usually when they are listed on the Film Commission website, it's because they are in production and they won't need someone in post-production for at least a few more months. Helping them look for composers now is a genius idea, actually. And I would say that that's true for editors as well. Film commissions have the directories of workers locally, but they also have directories of current projects. And reaching out to producers on current projects and asking them what their lineup is for post-production isn't a bad idea. 3. Specific things I'd change. A. The first paragraph could use a bit of a rework. Saying the feature sounds pretty cool, falls really flat, and doesn't seem genuine. Some of your language, I would say, is also almost too formal. I would suggest going to the filmmaker's portfolio and doing some research to see what they've actually worked on, to watch part of the stuff from their past filmography, complementing a specific aspect of something that they have previously directed or produced, I think would go a lot farther. For example, I checked you out on IMDb and I saw that you worked on blank. I watched a bit of the film and oh my goodness, insert very specific compliment here. Professionalism doesn't have to be big words. I'd say rework the first paragraph pretending like you're writing to a professor that you know pretty well. It needs to be professional and tidy because it's to a person in authority, but it can be a little bit more personable and human and conversational. B, you want to do 100% of the work for the potential client. Telling them that they know to go to your website and that they need to click several links in order to find something specific that you want them to experience almost guarantees that they won't do it. It's too many clicks. It's too complicated. I would include 2 links and describe them. I would include a link directly to that project and explain why you think that this specific musical project indicates that you're a good fit for the show, and then explain that if they would like to know more about you and verify your full portfolio, there's a link to the full website. C, Your second paragraph has a lot of qualifiers, like I don't know who you guys are, I don't know what you guys are doing, I don't know if you already have a composer, but if I'm right, and if you don't need someone else. And most of those qualifiers go without saying. You can pretty much cut all of that out and go straight to, I'm interested in composing the film. I'm interested in your film, and I think I'd be a good fit. I'm fairly new, but I also have a lot of skills, and I'm looking to make more connections in general, and I'd love to have a conversation and talk through what you guys are looking for and explore it if I'm a good fit. I guess just a lot less caveats and a bit more confidence. Now, I went even a little bit further. So I told her in the beginning, I told her that she should do some specific research on the producer and the filmmaker and then be able to complement their previous work. So I did a little bit of that work for her just to see what I came up with. Turns out that the film commission said that Kevin Costner was involved somehow. I didn't have a lot to go off of. I had like the film title, I had Kevin Costner, and I had one producer's name, and I just kind of plugged that into Google, and I spent some time researching, and I found that there was a link from Deseret.com, which is a news outlet in Utah, discussing how the film Horizon was going to be filmed in Utah. So it turns out that this is a AAA blockbuster from Hollywood, just using some of the local Utah terrain. Not a good fit for a new composer barely out of school. If she would have sent the email, it probably would have never even been seen, and she could have felt discouraged not getting a response, not knowing the kinds of people that she was emailing. This is another example of why it's so incredibly important for you to do the work first. You gotta know who you're emailing. You got to know what it is that they do and how you might be a good fit for them. And you got to lay that out for them in the email. You can't just say, go to my portfolio, I do good stuff. You got to be very specific about, this is why I would be a good fit, and here's a thing that I've done that proves it. You have to do the work. You want to know as much as possible and do as much work as possible so that your potential client is as likely to respond to you as possible, because it's so easy. You just laid it all out for them. They read your email that was like 3 tiny paragraphs that made it very exactly clear that you did your research, that you know what you're talking about, that you're a good fit for them, and that you want to meet up. And then they clicked on a link that was exactly designed for them and gave them exactly the information that they needed to have about you. And they're like, sure, all I have to do is take less than 30 seconds to write a quick reply. You've made it as easy as humanly possible for them to respond to you. It sounds dumb. It's a lot more work on your part, but this is the difference. You have to be paranoid about the other person. You want to try to provide as much value as possible for them from the very beginning. And the biggest way to do that is to spend time researching who they are and what they've done and talking about it and complimenting it and making your email as short as it can possibly be and as easy to understand as it can possibly be with a very specific request. Now, this doesn't mean that it has to be some monumental chore. It took me less than 3 minutes to figure out what was going on with the Horizon film, and then we knew not to send the email. Once I find a local production house, it usually takes me less than 10 minutes to skim through their website, find all of their coolest work, and then pick something that I really like and I want to compliment them on. It's not like you can't use a template. You're just plugging more personal stuff into it. So it's still a fast process. It sets you so far apart. All right, so let's say they respond. There's a few different ways that they could respond, right? One could be that they're too busy to meet up for coffee, but they're happy to answer questions. One could be that they would love to meet up. They can't meet up in person, but let's do a call. Or they would love to meet up in person. What day does this sound like? It's all a win. Even if they don't respond, it's a win. Because when you've spent the time to be that personal and to be that impressive in a cold email and then you ship that off, if they ever see it, you've made a good impression. And later on down the line, maybe you send a follow-up email to them. Maybe one of their colleagues now knows about you and mentions you to them. You're much more likely to stick around in their minds. It's never a fail to wisely send out good communications like this. So if they want to meet up or they want to just continue conversation through DMs, usually I think it's best at that point to do a bit of get to know you. Figure out who they are, figure out what it is that they're actually doing. You know, sometimes LinkedIn can be a little bit misleading. So find out what they actually do for the company and what their skill set is and what their interests are and what they know the needs of their own work and their company's work is. Talk about where you're coming from and what you're working on and where you're trying to go to. And if you establish that they really are farther in the industry than you, Don't be afraid to ask them for thoughts and advice. Don't be afraid to ask them for some help. Ask them what the industry is like. If you've established that they know more than you and that they've been in the industry longer than you, ask them how the industry is. Ask them about what's being made around here and who's doing what. Ask them for more connections. Ask them if they'll refer you to other people. Ask them if they have gigs or if they know of people that have gigs. We're just trying to help each other out.